Most men will tell you they want freedom, financial freedom, freedom from their job, freedom to start a business, freedom to move somewhere else, freedom to build a life they actually want. Bullshit. Most men don't want freedom. They want permission. They want their wife to approve it, their boss to bless it, their friends to understand it. Their parents to tell them they're proud of them. And apparently, they need some bald dude on YouTube personally guaranteeing everything's going to work out. And yeah, I understand the irony of that. You're currently listening to a bald dude on YouTube tell you to stop listening to bald dudes on YouTube. We'll work through that together. But here's what I'm talking about. Most people already know at least one thing in their life they need to change. You know the job is killing you. You know you're out of shape. You know you need to start the business. You know you need to stop drinking every damn night. You know you need to have that conversation. You know you need to leave or stay or move or finally start doing the thing you've been talking about for 5 freaking years. You already know that. But instead of making the decision, you keep turning it into a question. What do you think? Do you think now's the right time? Would you do that? Should I wait? Brother, you asked 12 people. You watched 47 podcasts. You read 3 books. You joined a Facebook group. You've downloaded 2 ebooks. You watched a guy with veneers explain success from the hood of a Lamborghini. You don't have an information problem anymore. You have a courage problem. And there's a reason why we do this. Permission gives us something incredibly valuable. It's somebody else to blame. That's the part nobody talks about. If somebody tells you to do it and it fails, well, everybody else told me it was a good idea. If your wife approves it, well, you agreed with me, honey. Your business partner wanted it. Oh, it was his idea. But if you make the decision, now we're in dangerous territory, because if it goes to shit, that's yours. That's your decision, your consequences, your failure. Nobody to blame, nobody to subpoena, nobody to drag into the investigation. A lot of people don't ask for advice because they actually want advice. They want a witness that they can blame later. That's why freedom is terrifying. Everybody loves talking about freedom. They put an eagle behind it, American flag, maybe some lighting, throw a 1776 underneath it, sell the shirt for $34.99. Everybody's Patrick Henry now. But actual freedom means you make the decision and accept what comes with it. It's a little less popular. And you know these guys. Hell, maybe you've been this guy. He's always about to do something, about to start a business. He's about to start training. I'm about to leave the company. I'm about to invest in something. I'm about to write a book, launch a product. He's been getting his ducks in a row for 7 years. At some point, his ducks have died of old age. And he'll tell you, I'm just waiting for the right time. And the right time apparently requires zero risk, perfect market conditions, a supportive family, a booming economy, and low interest rates. And Jesus Christ personally sending a Google Calendar invitation, Tuesday at 2:30, start your business. Location Earth, dress code business casual. Some men will spend 6 months researching how to start a business, then another 3 months choosing the name, then 2 months designing the logo, then business cards, then hats, then a coffee mug. 0 customers, 0 sales, 0 product. But by God, that Canva logo is combat ready. That is not entrepreneurship. That is arts and crafts for frightened adults. And the internet has turned procrastination into an entire industry, because now you can feel productive without producing anything. You can watch business podcasts all day, leadership videos, fitness videos, financial videos, motivational speeches. You can spend 8 hours learning the morning routine of a billionaire while lying on your couch eating Doritos at 2 a.m. But you got the information. You're basically Warren Buffett now. You just haven't gotten around to the revenue portion. And I'm not shitting on learning. I read, I research, I ask people questions. I've learned an enormous amount from people smarter than me. But eventually, you have to do something. A lot of men don't need another podcast. They need somebody to confiscate their phone, slap their Bluetooth headset off their head, and make them accomplish one useful freaking thing before sunset. Because here's what nobody tells you. Action produces information. You can research whether people will buy your product for 6 months or try selling it tomorrow. Nobody buys it. Well, then you can start the process. You can start the process. Fantastic. That sucks. But you just learned more in one afternoon than you learned watching 38 episodes of some entrepreneur podcast. Failure gives you information. Action gives you information. Sitting around thinking about action mostly gives you a hemorrhoid. And this is bigger than starting a business, because this obsession with permission absolutely destroys leadership. A leader doesn't wait until everybody agrees. That's the whole point. Anybody can make decisions once the answer is obvious. That's not leadership. That's arriving after the firefight and posing beside the equipment. Leadership means gathering the information you have, understanding the risks, listening to people who actually know what they're talking about, and then making the call. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, but you own it. And really, that's becoming rare. We have grown men who cannot make a restaurant reservation without forming a congressional subcommittee. Hey, where does everybody want to eat? I don't care. What about Mexican? Not Mexican. Okay, Italian. I don't care. 45 minutes later, everybody's pissed off and eating crackers over the sink. Somebody make a decision. I know that's a stupid example, but the behavior scales, man. Companies do it, families do it, government sure as hell do it. Nobody wants responsibility. Everybody wants input. And here's another thing I've learned. Be extremely careful taking advice from people who have zero exposure to outcome. People will casually tell you what to do with your life because they don't have to live it with the result. Don't start that business, is too risky. Okay. If I don't do it, are you paying my bills for the next 20 years? No. Then maybe your vote doesn't carry quite as much weight as your thought. People will tell you not to move, not to leave your job, not to invest, not to change careers, not to try something different. And sometimes they're right. That's why you listen, but look at the source. If a guy hates his job, hates his marriage, hates where he lives, he's complained about all three since the Obama administration, and he's explaining how you should structure your life, maybe don't immediately carve that shit into stone, okay? That is not a mentor. That is a cautionary exhibit. And I need to make one distinction, because some dipshit is going to hear this and say, Jack says, never listen to anybody. No, that's not what I'm saying. Only an idiot refuses good counsel. Strong people seek advice. The difference is this: advice gives you information. Permission transfers responsibility. Those are completely different. I can ask 5 people, I respect what they think. I can listen to every one of them, change my plan, recognize something I missed, and then I make a decision. That is an agency. You're not outsourcing your life. And that's really where this goes. Look at how much of modern life revolves around explaining why something isn't our responsibility. It's the economy, my parents, my boss, my ex, the government, social media, women, men, the algorithm, Mercury is in Gatorade, anything. And look, sometimes life absolutely kicks you in the dick. You can get sick, you can lose your job, get betrayed, lose money, go through a divorce, have responsibilities dropped on you that you never asked for. I'm not one of these internet assholes telling you that if you wake up at 4 a.m., take a cold shower, and drink mushroom coffee, you'll become a billionaire. A lot of that shit is basic astrology for men with gym memberships. But even when circumstances suck, there's almost always something you can still control: your effort, your discipline, what you consume, who you listen to, what you tolerate, what you do today. And people spend so much time screaming about things they cannot control that they completely abandon the things they can. It's easier to bitch about Washington than walk 30 minutes. It's easier to complain about inflation than stop spending your money on donuts. It's easier to complain about modern culture than put the phone down and raise your children. Posting memes about weak men that admit you've been avoiding the same decision for 5 years. Outrage is cheap. Responsibility is expensive. That's why everybody can afford outrage. And here's the part that may piss some people off. Most of the time, you're not confused. You know exactly what you need to do. You just don't like what it's going to cost you. You don't actually need clarity about getting in shape. You know you do. You don't need clarity about spending less money on fast food. You know. And you don't need clarity about the toxic person you keep allowing into your life. You know you're supposed to cut those people out. You don't need clarity about the business you've been talking about starting since COVID. You know. What you're really saying is, I would like another option where I get the result I want without experiencing discomfort. Yeah. So would everybody. Trust me, I would. The amount of work and effort I put into build Black Scout Survival was at a cost. I didn't have a life. Still basically don't. Other than that, a lot of people just don't have what it takes. Fear gets dressed up as analysis. Analysis sounds respectable. I'll just spend another 6 months evaluating my options. No, you're scared. That's okay. Say you're scared, and at least now we're dealing with the actual problem. Because courage isn't being fearless. Anybody who has made decisions where real money, careers, and families, livelihoods, or lives are on the line understands fear. Fear is useful. Fear tells you where the danger is. So let fear come to the meeting. Give fear a chair. Let fear present us a little PowerPoint. Slide 1, here are 37 ways this can completely F your life up. Thank you, fear. Excellent presentation. Very thorough. Now sit down, because fear gets input. It doesn't get final approval authority. You do. And this is what people constantly forget. They calculate risk of action, but never calculate the risk of doing nothing. What if I start the business and it fails? Good question. What if you don't and you spend 20 years wondering, what if I leave this job and regret it? Possible. But what if you stay and become bitter and miserable? What if I have to have that conversation that creates conflict? Maybe it will. But what if you avoid 5 more years of misery? Doing nothing is neutral. Doing nothing is still a decision. It just doesn't feel like one. And that's how people wake up 10 years later living basically the same life, except older, more pissed off, and somehow still considering their options. So what I want you to do is not 10 things, 1. Think about one decision you keep discussing but refuse to make. And ask yourself, do I actually need more information? Or am I using information to delay action? What's the real price of making this decision? And what's the price if I do absolutely nothing for another year? Because somewhere in your life, there may be a door that's already open and you're standing in front of it like a Labrador waiting for somebody to say, okay, go. Nobody's coming. There's no permission slips. There's no perfect moment in life. There is never a guarantee. And there's definitely no bald dude on YouTube who can promise you this shit is going to work out, including this one. Get good advice, understand the risk, build the plan, then make the freaking decision. And whatever happens next, own it, because that's what freedom actually is. It's not doing whatever the hell you want. It's not living without consequences. It's having the ability to make your own decisions and the strength to accept what comes with them. Most men don't want freedom, they want permission. Stop asking for it.